Hey, good evening, everybody. I am Chuck Rogers, licensed professional counselor and licensed marriage and family therapist.
And I'm Keith Dunn, and I am throwing in the towel.
Yeah, he really is. Currently, he's a network engineer, but together we're Tabletop Coffee.
Yep, where we are bold and never, ever bitter.
And sometimes it's a good idea to be a quitter. Stay tuned. We'll talk about it.
So you were telling me, actually we were talking about this. We've talked about this over the past number of years, about how to make changes in your life when you have so much stuff on your plate. Mm-hmm. And you can't do everything well.
Yeah.
Not everything well for a long span of time.
Right. Yeah, we've kind of been mentioning this lately with the Velvet Rope series that we talked about.
Yeah, it fits perfect with that.
About making sure to keep certain business out. You don't want,
I'll put it up there.
Keith will put it up there. Certain people are allowed in your life, some are not. And tonight is another variation of that theme, I think, about allowing certain things to come into your life.
Right.
And making sure that certain things do not come. And if they do come, sometimes you need to get rid of them. And it came up for me recently. I was having this conversation with a client, and he had begun to do a whole lot better in lots of areas. And so I asked him the question. I said, what's one of the things that you're doing right now that is enabling you to be experiencing so much success?
Right.
You know, you've got this better pattern, you're headed in a different direction, it's going at a different speed. Well, what are you doing that's bringing about that success?
Sure.
And he said, I dropped a class.
Okay.
He said, I dropped a class. And I said, well, tell me about that. And he says, well, you know, a few weeks ago we were talking about my workload and how anxious I was about my workload and trying to learn more and excel in my company and learn various pieces I needed to learn. And he said, I started this class back in January, I think. It was the start of a new semester.
Right.
And he said, I had these doubts then about whether I should take this class, and he didn't really listen to that inner voice.
Yeah.
And he took this class on, and it was a burden. I mean, it really was very heavy for him to juggle this class and juggle his work and juggle family and juggle his relationship with God. And about halfway through, he made this decision to just truly throw in the towel and quit this class.
Oh, okay.
And I said, what was it like when that happened? He said, it was this major stress reliever for him. And then what it did was it allowed him to really focus on his work the way he wanted to focus on it and learn what he needed to learn and wanted to learn. And he really excelled in work at that point.
Yeah, I can relate with that. I think about all the different things that I do in the job that I have, and things even outside of the job that I have, and I don't have time to do a lot of things that I would like to do. So I am looking at that from the perspective of I need to bounce things out of my life so I have more time to either learn things that I want to learn that I would like to excel in a different way.
Yeah.
And I think that we can look at it that way as well. But yeah, actually jumping into a class and then throwing that thing out. So the class made it past the velvet rope, but then the bouncer decided it was time for it to go, so toss it out.
Yeah. And I said to him, just think about this conversation that we're having right now. If you had not listened to that inner voice and gotten rid of the class, what would this feel like right now? And he said, I would be so heavy. I'd be so stressed. I'd be so upset. I wouldn't be able to be present for my work. I wouldn't be able to be present for my family.
Right.
And we talked about how it would have been okay to keep both.
Okay.
It wasn't an awful decision.
Sure.
But it would not have been the best decision.
Okay.
And I said, what would have happened if you would have kept the class? He said, well, I would have completed it, most likely, but it would have been a mediocre outcome for his class.
Right.
And I said, what would have been like at work? He said, I'd be producing mediocre work. So each area would have been mediocre, and neither piece would have been done with excellence.
You know, those are some great words.
Yeah.
You know, looking at what is in your life that would that you could take away something that you're doing that is mediocre that could really help you excel somewhere else. That's awesome.
Yeah, and it would have been okay to do it.
Sure.
But it would
It
have
would be.
not been the best. And he was
Right.
grateful that he did finally listen to that inner voice because it was there all along.
Okay.
And go ahead, and he was a quitter.
He was a quitter. So it's good to quit sometimes.
Yes, absolutely.
That's a hard word for me. I don't understand that word. But it really is. So the takeaway on this is, if you have something in your life that is keeping you from something else that could be better, you might want to look at actually changing that and quitting.
Yeah, sometimes you have to get rid of good things.
Right.
Yeah.
To get better.
Hey, if you would, put some comments down below about some places in your life where maybe you've needed to quit and didn't, or maybe you needed to quit and did listen to that inner voice and finally threw in the towel, and how your life became better. Or maybe you're struggling now with needing to quit something but are really
Sure, that's
fearful
right.
to throw in that towel. That would be great. And subscribe. We would appreciate that.
Yeah, be sure and ding that bell to get notified of upcoming episodes.
Make sure to like it.
Yep, share it with your friends.
Thanks, everyone.
Until next time. One of these days, I'm going to be able to afford a shirt with a logo.
Oh, the
You know?
little fish or the alligator.
Little fish, little alligator, the penguin.
I don't know about the penguin.
Oh yeah, little penguin. What was the penguin? Penguin was it? Oh come on, little penguin. I used to have little penguin shirts. I can't remember what they were called. Back when I was in high school, my mom always bought me shirts with a penguin. I don't remember what they were called. They were awesome though.